Hey, what's up everyone? I just want to show you the cool stuff which I did, which I did do actually. This is something done by the very good OS, that is Ubuntu, and it's the latest OS of Ubuntu. And yes, I did completely transform my laptop to I don't blame on Windows, but Windows is actually how we use. It's kind of girlfriend. If you spend good time, and if you have if you take care of it, she'll be with you. If not, then you know me. Yeah. That's it, guys. Jokes apart, yeah, this is the one. I think I'm glad to be part of Ubuntu family now. I used to be when I was 15 years old. I started my OS with Fedora, and after that I did Kali Linux, and I love the Kali Linux, that all cracking things, air crack and all. Just for a fun, we used to crack the proper network operators and network connectors, like WLAN or WLAN, WPA2, all those things. And so after that, because of some reasons, I changed Kali Linux to Backtrack, and that was also kind of ethical hacking tool. But yeah, after some time I got realized, for some time I used to work with Windows. I don't know why I shifted from Linux to Windows. I don't know, but it happened, for and it happened for a long time. After that, I was part of a pure Mac community, but you know how Mac works and what is the cost of that. So when I couldn't afford that, so again, I came to Windows. So now I thought of purchasing a new Mac, but the thing is, I just gave a try to Ubuntu new thing. I just made my system into dual boot, and trust me guys, it's a 3 years old system, and I'm using HP Omen. That's a gaming edition. That is not a much cool system. That has HDD is not that good. It is not SSD system, and the battery is also, it's kind of fluctuating. It won't work properly. But trust me, this Ubuntu is giving me a different kind of the comfort zone to work with, to develop something. Yesterday I used to I did some development. I ran Ionic application along with Flutter, along with Angular, and the best part, an emulator. So I was surprised, and yeah, I just um, I just said about a Flutter, right? It's going to be very cool, guys. So once I'm done with Android, I'm going to start some videos on a Flutter. So I'm kind of a learning stage in a Flutter, intermediate stage in a Flutter. I'm not an expert in Flutter, but once I get a good expertise on a Flutter, I definitely start videos on that, and we'll have a fun together. Yeah, so that is all about shifted all the things from Windows to Ubuntu. I'm really enjoying it. Just see the Ubuntu interface, guys. Isn't it cool? It's really cool, right? And I didn't install much things, and I just installed the Visual Studio Code and Chrome and Firefox. I'm going to uninstall it. I don't like Spider Monkey. And yeah, and Android Studio. I'm not a big fan of Android Studio, but I'm using Flutter. That's why you have to use Android Studio. There is no other option. And I use only one media player, that is VLC and OBS. So if someone don't know which the tool I'm using to give you're going to stream the things, so that is nothing but OBS. It's going to be very cool. So if you want to create your own channel, if you want to spread the knowledge, I'm always suggest get into one new OBS in your system and start enjoying it. That's it, guys. So yeah, that's it for now, and let's get into our work. So I'm going to open Visual Studio Code. So meanwhile, I'm just checking whether my thing is stop. Yeah, it's recording. Trust me guys, Visual Studio Code used to get around 15 to 20 seconds just to get a first load. So this is something it's something about Flutter. So I'm going to change that to my folder. That is going to be yeah, that last folder which we did, right? So let's check. Let's open folder, and I have a development and an Angular. So I have Angular and Ionic. I definitely release some videos on Ionic also, guys, so don't worry about it. Yeah, this is all about Angular. Now let me run this Angular. So ng serve. So let's check how much time it would take to learn. And one more thing, as I said earlier, I'm using very bad system configuration. So if I get at least some good amount of experience, or very good amount of things, then it's more than enough, guys. So that's going to be very cool. Yeah, so let's wait till it runs. So I'm just setting up my mouse. Yeah, it started compiling, right? And once it compiles in a very good manner, so don't worry about it. So yeah, so once it compiles, we need a Chrome. And this is a video I just came across, Papa Stanimus. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing in a very bad way, but he helped me a lot to set up my OBS in Ubuntu. I'm really thankful to him. And I'm going to access my local list, and yes, it's running. So let's get into our whole and soul. So this is what we did, right? So it is by using Angular. So definitely we are going to do some many very good things, very cool stuffs in Angular now. That is getting into some modules called HTTP, and we are going to create our own server. So that is currently I'm going to use a JSON server. Those things we are going to do, guys, so stay tuned. In the meanwhile, I'm going to just giving a brief about Angular HTTP, Angular 9 HTTP. So let's get into Angular guide itself. So what is about HTTP, why we need it? You are saying the old one, when I started my Angular class, I just said about Angular by saying it's a client language. Now I'm saying, now I'm talking about HTTP, so it is going to write a service. No, the simple thing is no, you're just going to access which is already been written. We were not going to write any kind of a service here by using HTTP services. You're just using it as a service. And at the end of the day, you're just creating a very cool service, which is going to be which can be accessed by using HTTP model. So you will be exposed to some of the CRUD operations like create, delete. You're not deleting from your end, you're just using existing API, okay, that interface, and after that you're just creating your own thing. That's it. So here we are going to learn about the async and await, and we are going to create a promise. Lots of things, lots of stuff to do, guys. So yeah, let's not waste the time, sorry, and let's get started. So I don't know how much time I just wasted to give a first initial thing, 8 minutes. So I'll just put a description in a link, guys. So I'll just let you know like from when you should start if you don't want to listen my philosophy. So you can directly quick start from 9 minutes 5 seconds here. Let's talk about HTTP now. So what is HTTP? What is HTTP client, and how any Angular service works? So let's get into Angular project, and I'm going to use my own Angular here. So I'm going to say like ngGC, not C. Usually I start with a component, right? So here we're going to create a service. So I'm going to create a service folder, and inside the service folder I'm going to say web service. So so what I'm going to create, yes, right, that is a service. So this is how it should be. So once I hit enter, so it should be able to create a service for me, which should be in webs this particular service folder. So if I get into app, I should have something called service folder. I should have a web service and spec ts, that is for some kind of not kind of, that is actually for writing the test cases to on your service. You can create a test cases, you can write a test case, you can execute it by using Jasmine and Karma. You can use a Sonar Cube. We are going to use it. Sorry guys, I'm just drinking water. I'm so thirsty. So so that's all about we are going to learn in a step-by-step manner. And yeah, let's create our own service. So it's going to use an inject table, and you're going to create a decoration, and you're going to create a provider for it. And after that, it will be this is a class name. So it's pretty much simple thing, right? But here I'm going to create something called these things are already created just to say share the data between our components. But this is the main the main thing we are using here, the main what if you ask me why you're using again service, why you're talking about the service again, because we already discussed this about in our initial videos. But why you're again cooking up these things again and again? Yeah, I have an answer. Still now I have explained you only till here. Okay, I just created a variable. I have created observables just to get into event emitters, but till now I haven't created anything, right? HTTP CRUD services, right? So let's create that. It's going to be very funny. So isn't it loading properly? Yeah, it's loading, right? So that's a live loading. Yep. So I'm going to import some of the HTTP client here. So I'm going to say some of the HTTP clients. I can the HTTP, it has its own kind of explanation, guys. So for example, if I want to access the HTTP request, I want to use the CRUD operations, I can directly go for HTTP client and headers. If I want to share some headers and authorization or JWT tokens and all, you will get it in the future. But that is how it is. If you want to set header code, application JSON, all those things, header will work for you. But if you have something called if you want to handle authorization in a proper way, you have a HTTP interceptors. So that interpreters are whatever we're going to use, we'll definitely use it. If I get a good amount of time, I'll definitely explain you on that. Not today, so for sure I'll explain it. So I'm going to access something called HTTP client. I'm going to access it from it's a module called this is going to be a common module. It is deprecated in you previously used to call the module from Angular and HTTP. So here we don't have that. It's that particular module deprecated, so we're going to use Angular common module. So common, and in the common I'm going to use HTTP, so that we're able to access the HTTP client here. So I'm not going to give any HTTP headers for now, definitely. So but what else I can do, I'll be whenever I'm using HTTP client, I have to create a dependency injection for that. So else without creating a dependency injection, I cannot do it. So I'm going to public HTTP, and I'm going to say HTTP client. So did I use the TS lint for it? And because I love TS lint in my application, TS lint. Angular. So I'm going to insert snippets, and yeah, that's it. See here, just he created, right? If you're able to see this, use these kind of things, guys. It'll be you can do something, you can play with Angular. Once if you know the concept, then just create that. So he just did a HTTP, right? So let's it's very easy, like hey, HTTP is like interceptor. You can create your own interceptor, and if you want to, I'm not going to do that. So for now, so it is very cool, guys. So if I, for example, if I want to use a HTTP get something called your a get or something is there, and I'll be having get values are there. So there are lots of cool things you can do, and here we're going to create we cannot access HTTP client as it is, so we have to use our app module now, just to the work with the HTTP client module. Until and unless if you don't access the HTTP client module, it will not work, guys. So you just go to module.ts. This is where you're going to be a root module. So if you are using a lazy loading, you don't need to declare the HTTP clients in your main module or bootstrap module. You can directly declare in the page module or component level of modules. So now I'm going to access the same thing in our HTTP module itself, app module itself. So I'm going to call HTTP client module, right? So it will automatically call that. Yeah, so all things are good now, but I need to show you something, right? So for that I have some concept called JSON server. Okay, this is going to be very cool concept. Until and unless you don't know about, if you don't want to learn about a backend, it's very bad thing. If you don't want to learn, please learn backend things. It's going to be very cool stuff. It's going to have a pretty cool stuff. So yeah, so what I can do, so that is where, so I'm going to start my own thing, and I'm going to say like sample JSON for array of objects. So I'll get plenty of data, guys. So I don't use single thing. So I can use this also, a JSON array. So I can use any kind of data, so that is not at all a problem. Okay, so if you want to use a different array, it's completely left to you. And here I'm going to use something called sample. So here I have something, a color, or it may be anything. I'll get a lots of sample inputs here. So I'm going to access one of that. So I'm not getting actually what I wanted to get. Okay, so this is useless for me. It's better to create our own thing, right? Rather than sometime I think, like when I Google, I usually think why I'm googling. So it's better to create your own stuffs. But yes, Google will help the lots of times, creating something good thing. Okay, so I can get something, this I can copy this existing this, and I'm going to create it as a I'll just utilize my main page itself. So I'll say like server dot JSON. Did I misspell the things? Sorry for that, guys. Okay, so I'm going to, so once I say server dot JSON, I can paste everything over here. So yeah, it's actors, right? Did I miss anything? Yes, I missed one. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, you're done with your data. What you can do now, you already installed, right? You're not installed, then just copy this thing and you just say I'll be not installing this as dev. I'll be not installing this as a main dependency. I'll be installing it as a save dev dependency. So once I install this, I'll be able to access this particular so I'm not getting a cool, yeah, this is where it is, right? Yeah, I have a db.json here, and I just all I need to do, just write JSON server and watch and put your JSON file on it. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to paste it. I hope you're able to see this. If you want me to increase the font family, please let me know in the next session. So yes, so yeah, JSON server is not okay. So I'm using, I should be always think in mind, like I'm using Linux machine now. I have to take care about pseudo elements, because it's going to be very cool, guys. When you start using Linux, when you stop using Windows, I'm not against Windows or something, but you are actually using your brain in a proper way. You'll be very lazy if you don't use Linux in a proper format. Okay. So okay, install it in a global way. Maybe I'll be not accessible to the particular thing, because of that I'm not using it as a global. So let me use it as a global now. And always here it will ask, so just use sudo started my journey from Mac system. When I started my started coding by using Mac system, I was very new to sudo and all, but not only Mac but all the Linux based machine have that thing. So yeah, now you are able to load your server.json, so that means you'll be able to call all the things in this manner. So maybe I'll just expose postman node Chrome. So I'll be taking it as so I'll just add it to the Chrome, add an app. You can do lots of cool stuffs in a course where you can automate the things. You can do anything you want to do, guys. So launch the app. I should be able to launch because it's not a browser or a system app. It's just a browser extension which is going to learn in your Chrome itself. We can use Swagger also. We can use lots of any other elements that just to check the things. So I'll just search with my so let me check. Yeah, I'll be able to install it. So let me install. I can directly install sudo apt-get install also, but I'm kind of lazy. If I have something in a GUI, yeah, this is what happens with the Windows user. If something is not there, then you have to think on your own, right? You have to put your own efforts and you have to make your own decisions, right? It's not like that in a Windows and some GUI. It will not let you feel, or it will think about what is actually going inside and what's actually happening inside. So that's what happening. So there is some bugs in Ubuntu, so it's installing it's not showing the progress bar, but again click, I'll be able to see the progress bar, but it will show an error. Maybe I'll handle this in 2 videos, just because its video is going to be very lengthy then. So it's already 23 minutes, right? So I'm winding up this, I'm just stop this video for now, and once I'm done, I think I'll again start the video. Okay, yeah, please stay tuned for next video. I'm not going to say bye because it's a the next video going to be continuation of this video. Okay.